All right, everyone, it's 9 o'clock and good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to see everyone. As we all know, today is September the 1st. So the year is moving on, and we're so grateful that everyone is on the conference call, on the Zoom call. So we want to thank Mike for bringing this capability to us, and we're so grateful as a city to be able to have this great opportunities to carry on the business of the people. So I am calling the meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to call on Councilman Gordy to lead us with the invocation, and after that, also with the pledge. Councilman Gordy.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we just thank you for this day, Father. We just thank you for another day, another blessing, another opportunity to serve you, Lord, and to serve this community. Father, I just thank you for everyone here at this meeting, Lord. I thank you for the role we all play in trying to make our city and our community better each and every day. Father, I thank you for the employees that have gathered here with us today and the service that they've provided for our city and the opportunity we get to recognize them and the milestones of the years that they've been here to serve our city. I thank you for them, Lord. I thank you for all our city employees. Lord, I thank you for just a blessing that you've given us to be in a role, Father, where we can serve this great community that we live in. Father, I just pray that in our business that we do today, in our daily activities, Father, that we just guide our hearts towards your will, Father. And we just ask that you point us in the direction you want us to go, Lord, and just lead us there and help us to follow, Father. I just pray all of these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Gordon. And if we can all stand and visualize our flag. Councilman Gordon.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Gordon. Again, it's good to see everyone. We're going to go ahead and proceed on with our agenda. We have the presentation, and I do want to say this, Council, and I'm trusting it's okay with your pleasure. We do have a proclamation that we're going to ask our clerk to read after the Employee Service Recognition and it's Public Safety Day. And I had known about it, the request, but forgot to let them know. So I'll take fault of that. And so Melanie, as she always does a good job in reminding me yesterday after the work session. And so there is a proclamation that she will read after the recognition of our employees, and it is called Public Safety Day, and she will proceed with that. But first, at this time, I'd like to call on our City Manager, Wally Hunter, as well as our HR Director, Stephanie Chastain, to be able to give recognition where recognition is due for the employees and really make our city prosperous. Mr. Hunter, Ms. Chastain.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. As the mayor said, this is a highlight for us to publicly thank our employees for their service and dedication that they perform each and every day. You know, all too often, they may not get the credit that they deserve. And so this is an opportunity for us to just say thank you for all that you've done and persevering and sticking with us and dedicating service to our citizens. So we'll go ahead and get started. I've split this up by departments. These go back to March. We didn't know, how long the COVID pandemic was going to last. And so we decided we'd go ahead and catch these up via Zoom. So we'll get started with the police department. So starting with Crystal Green, who has 5 years of service. And I believe I saw her on here earlier. So Crystal, if you'd like to take a few moments, you can say a few words if you'd like.
Can they see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I would just like to say thanks for the opportunity of working for the police department. It has truly been a blessing, and I'm just grateful to even have a job. I realize some people don't even have a job, so just to be able to serve the community is such a blessing, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. I don't see him on, but I may be overlooking him, so I want to make sure. Sergeant Nicholas Tosti. has 5 years of service. I don't believe he's on here with us. We do want to recognize him. We have Officer John Young, who has 5 years of service. I saw him on here. So thank you for your service and dedication, Officer Young. If you'd like to take a few minutes to say a few words, that's wonderful. Oh,
He didn't shy up, did he?
yeah, I see you on there. You don't want to say anything? Can you hear me, Officer Young?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Did you want to say a few words, or you just want me to say thank you for your service?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, and the City Council for giving me the opportunity to work here in our great city.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Right. Also, with 5 years of service with the police department, we have Officer Patrick Dolman.
Mr. Dolman, you're 10 years.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
I'd
morning.
like to thank
Oh, I might have wrote it down wrong. You have 10 years, right, Officer Dolman?
Yes.
yes,
I apologize. I wrote that down wrong. So,
that's okay. I'd just like to thank Chief Smith for giving me the opportunity to work for the police department. In these 10 years, it's been a challenge. Policing is sometimes very difficult. You got to put on many hats to do your job. So I just like to thank everybody that's for hiring me, and I think I'll be around for a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
all right. Also, with our police department, we have Corporal Samuel Oshel with 10 years of service. I see him on here. So thank you, Corporal Oshel. And if you'd like to say a few words, we welcome you to do so.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. To city manager, to the mayor, to the city council, Chief Smith, like everybody said, thank you for the opportunity. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the city and the citizens, and I will continue to do it until I retire. So thank you very much.
There you go. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Also with our police department, and I don't want to overlook him, but I don't see him on here, Officer Michael Sievers with 10 years of service. I don't believe he's on, but he did reach that milestone. And then we have Sergeant Jose Silva with 10 years of service. I haven't seen him on either. If he's on, please feel free to say a few words.
Are you there?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I don't believe he's on, Mayor.
Okay.
And then we have Lieutenant Donnie Thomas with 15 years of service.
Johnny is on.
Yes, just want to say thank you to everyone. It's been a great 15 years, and like I said, look to serve even more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and moving on to our Parks and Recreation Department. We have Hurry Jones with you, Christy.
Yes, ma'am, I do. Hold on.
All right. All right, we've got Hurry Jones, and he has reached his 5 years of service with us. So I see him on there. So Hurry, if you'd like to say a few words, we welcome you to do so.
I just want to say thanks to all management for giving me a chance to podcast. It's been a good 5 years, and I'm hoping I can, if God willing, to do 5 more for the city. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also with our Parks and Recreation Department, we have Jennifer Osorio with 5 years of service. I see her on here. So welcome, Jennifer. Thank you for your service, and we welcome you to say a few words.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to everyone.
You're so welcome, and thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Also with Parks and Recreation, DeMarcy Watley with 5 years of service. I see him on here. So thank you for your service and dedication, DeMarcy. And we'll give you this opportunity to say a few words if you'd like to do so.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. I enjoy working for the city, and I want to work longer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks so much.
All right. And finally, with our Parks and Recreation Department, we also have Justin Worthington, and he has reached his 5 years of service. So all these individuals were hired right around the same time. So he's reached his 5 years of service. So thank you, Justin, for your service, and we'll give you the opportunity to say a few words.
I just want to say thank y'all so much for this chance. I love my job. I love these people here, and I love what I do, and I hope to keep doing it and keep serving. And I just want to thank y'all for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, and you're so welcome.
So we do thank each of these individuals, even those that weren't able to be on. But we do thank them for their service and dedication and everything that they do for our citizens.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And again, I just want to echo what has been stated, and that we say thank you all so much. And the common denominator, as all of you all have stated, is that we're in the service business, and we ask that we continue to keep the pure heart and the wholesome heart where we can continue to serve this community. And when we do that, we all get ahead. And thank you all so very, very much. And I would encourage you all to continue to stay with this organization, the city, and get your years in. And it's a great, great place to work, and it's great, great benefits, and it's a great retirement that I want to encourage each of you to set your goals to get there. So some got at least 20 years, some got at least 15, and some got at least 10. So just want to encourage you all to go for the goal, because the hay is getting in the barn, and it'll be there before you know it. And thank you all so very, very much. And with that said, now I'd like to turn it over to our clerk for the reading of this proclamation. And again, as I stated, it's Public Safety Day. And I want to thank Melanie for keeping me accountable on yesterday, and for being able to put this on there. And just want to apologize to the council that I did not mention it yesterday. So with that, Melanie.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Whereas on September the 11th, 2001, 19 years ago, 4 passenger jets were hijacked and crashed into the Twin Towers, Pentagon, and a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, killing nearly 3,000 innocent people. And whereas during the week of September the 11th, 2020, our nation and world will remember the lost lives and families of those who died that day. And whereas that day, police and firefighters bravely dashed into burning buildings to save the lives of those trapped inside, knowing they would face certain death. 343 firefighters died in the towering inferno, making it the most deadly day in firefighter history. 72 police officers died in the deadliest terrorist attack, making it the deadliest day in law enforcement history. Of the 2,977 people who died that day, over 412 were public safety personnel. And whereas 2.86 million people serve in public safety, meaning 1% protects over the other 99% of the 340 million Americans, plus visitors, students, and workers that come to America. There are nearly 60,000 assaults on police officers per year, resulting in over 18,000 injuries, and on average, 163 officers per year killed in the line of duty. And whereas the most dangerous position in public safety is one of the 1,134,000 firefighters in America who respond to over 34 million calls per year. On average, over 100,000 firefighters are injured each year, and over 100 die in the line of duty. Firefighters, EMS, and police have become our city and nation's first responders, responding to over 25 million 911 emergency calls. And whereas the Phenix City Fire and EMS has served Phenix City for 180 years and has obtained the ISO Class 1 rating, making it one of the top 1% of the nation. The people of Phenix City are setting aside a week, a day, and a Sunday to recognize, honor, and applaud the city's men and women of public safety who risk their lives every day and every night to protect us and keep us safe. And whereas public safety encompasses police, fire, EMS, sheriff, marshal, animal control, and responds to over 25,000 calls per year, while achieving the highest accreditation by multiple law enforcement and public safety agencies. In light of the recent adverse publicity against people involved in public safety, it is then a good and noble thing to affirm and applaud the men and women serving in public safety across America. Now, therefore, I, Eddie N. Lowe, Mayor of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, and on behalf of City Council, do hereby proclaim September the 6th through the 12th, 2020 as Public Safety Week, Friday, September the 11th as Public Safety Day, and Sunday, September the 6th as Public Safety Sunday in Phenix City, Alabama.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee.
Thank you, Mayor.
we all heard this proclamation that is so well done, so deserving. And as we mentioned yesterday, we set an example, I think, for this country to show how our public service people in the lines of their duties on how they really show servanthood as far as mitigating the situation that we have and the one we had last week with true humility and with love. And I just want to thank those officers for what they did last week. Thank our fire department and everyone who realize what their oath is and take it very seriously. So thank you, Melanie, and thank you, Council, for allowing us to add that to this agenda. So it's so well deserving, and we can't ever forget what happened on that September the 11th of that year. So thank you all, and we will proceed on now under the city clerk. And so, Council, at this time, I'd like to call for the approval of the August 17, 2020 work session. May I have a motion to approve the work session on the 17th of August.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
All right, we have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Gordon. Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Abstain.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Council, I would like to ask for a motion for the approval of the August the 18th council meeting. So may I have a motion to approve the 18th of August council meeting? May I have a motion, Council?
Motion to approve.
All right, then motion, Mr. Day, and that's the second, Mr. Bailey?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have the motion and second. Let this time call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding now, Council, on the City Council. Are there any unfinished business at this time? Okay. There not being any, we will proceed with the resolutions. And under administration, we have a resolution number 2020-217 to be ratified in reference to adding poll workers for the Phenix City municipal election on the 25th day of August. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas a regular municipal election and the Phoenix City Board of Education election will be held on the 25th day of August 2020 and a runoff election to be held if necessary on the 6th day of October 2020. And whereas pursuant to Governor Ivey's proclamation dated August the 21st, 2020, the following people will be added as poll workers for the Phoenix City municipal election to be held on August the 25th, 2020. Absentee box, Public Safety Building, Kay Holt, clerk. Gloria Kirkland, clerk. Central Activity Center, District 2, Box 2, Quintina Hayes, clerk. Sharon Travick, clerk. Alma Dolman, clerk. Passed, approved, and adopted the 24th day of August 2020, ratified this first day of September 2020.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Lee.
Thank you.
Council, we've heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to ratify the approval of this resolution. May I have a motion?
Motion to ratify.
All right, motion by Councilman Gordy. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Day.
That's fine.
Is that Council? Okay, we have the motion and second. Any comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, Council, is a resolution number 2020-218 to be ratified in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to sign documents with the DECA for grant assistance to replace 4 vehicles in the Public Works Department. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the city is committed to improve air quality, preserve the environment, and pursue measures to decrease the amount of pollutants in the atmosphere. And whereas the city of Phoenix City, Alabama is eligible to apply through the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, ADECA, for funding to replace eligible vehicles in an effort to reduce air pollutants, particularly nitrogen oxides emissions. And whereas the city wishes to make application to the ADECA for grant assistance to replace 3 Class 4-7 local freight trucks and 1 Class 8 local freight truck for a total estimated cost of $519,200. And whereas if said grant is awarded, $415,360, 80%, will be funded by ADECA, and the remaining $103,840, 20%, will be required from the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that the mayor and city manager as authorizing officials are hereby authorized and directed to sign the necessary documents for the above referenced grant application. Passed, approved, and adopted this 26th day of August 2020, ratified this 1st day of September 2020.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lee.
Thank you.
Council, we've heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to ratify for approval. May I have a motion, please, Council?
Motion to ratify.
All right, motion by Councilwoman Johnson. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Any comments or discussion, Council?
Yes, sir, Mayor. As I said on yesterday, this is a high dollar item. These are high dollar item, and it's something we really need here in our city to improve the quality of life for our citizens here. We're going to ask that Mr. Hunter has somebody to elaborate for the citizen of Phoenix City, please, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. This is a unique grant. It's based off the Volkswagen Settlement Eligible Mitigation Action, where Volkswagen was sending out some emissions basically with nitrogen oxides, and they weren't accounting for it. So this is something that they've submitted through the states, and ADECA is the department that is going to be handling the grant. But it allows us to apply to get older trucks off the road that actually emit these nitrogen oxides and replace them with new trucks that have better engines that don't allow these emissions to come out. So we are fortunate. These are a lot of the vehicles in public works that we use daily, and they are used heavily. So they are in need of replacement. But as Mr. Day did say, they are expensive. But we're applying to get a new garbage truck, a dump truck, and a service truck, which is the medium class truck, and then also a trash loader. So if we are able to obtain and get awarded this grant, we would be able to purchase 4 vehicles for basically what we would pay for the price of one. So being an 80-20 match is a very good deal for the city.
Thank you for that. That is a good deal. We just want our citizens to be aware of what the team we have down at the city doing such great job. Thank you for that, Ms. Angel.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Angel. Council, any other comments or discussion?
Just one question.
Go ahead.
If we get these trucks from that grant, do we retire the other trucks because of the emissions, or do we just use them like emergency when we need them? How will we work that?
No, sir. We have to show and prove that we disabled the actual trucks. We have to drill a hole into the motor, and then we will scrap them. So we have to prove that we are taking the emissions off the road.
I would figure that we'd have to do that to get this grant. So that's why I was curious about that. I had a couple of people ask me about that. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, let me ask you this, Angel. I know you said really hold into the motor. There are some parts of that vehicle. Those vehicles we're gonna be able to save for, later on to use on another truck.
No, sir. That's part of the grant. We have to completely disable the vehicle and then surplus it, scrap it.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other comments or discussion? Thank you again so much, Angel. With that, Council, at this time, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lowe?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on, Council. Next is a resolution in reference to approving the final settlement in the matter of David Jason Winton and wife Tammy Renee Winton versus the City of Phoenix City, case number 43-CV-2019-900143.00 in the amount of $85,512.98. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that settlement in the matter of Jason and Tammy Whitten versus the City of Phenix City, case number 43-CV-2019143.00 in the amount of $85,512.98 is hereby approved. Passed, approved, and adopted this first day of September 2020.
Okay. Council, all of us have heard the resolution, the reading of the resolution. May I have a motion for approval, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion, Councilman Day.
Yes, sir.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon.
Yeah.
Okay. We have the motion and second. Council, are there any comments or discussion?
If I could, Mayor, I'd just like to say, like I did yesterday, I really appreciate our city attorneys, Jim McCoon and Chance Campbell and Jimmy Graham doing such a fine job, mitigating this down to looks like a very reasonable figure. And thank Mike Patello and the engineer department for working with them up there. And this was a problem we inherited. This is not a problem that we caused, and just want all the citizens to understand that. But even when we inherit a problem, we have to fix the problem. And this was our way of finally bringing all this to an end up there in Saddlebrook. And to me, it looks like it came out to everybody's advantage, including the homeowners, the property owners, the people of Saddlebrook, plus the citizens of Phenix City. So I just want to tell everybody a well done job, and I appreciate the time and effort that they spent on this.
Okay. Any other comments or discussion? Okay, there seems to be none. I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on, council, on administrations is a resolution in reference to amending resolution 2019-44 in reference to the ground lease with the Phoenix City Housing Authority. Mrs. Lee.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Did we skip one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we did. Thank you. It's D. I apologize. D under administration is a resolution in reference to granting a tax abatement for Arbor Vital 8 LLC. Thank you so much, Ms. Lee. Okay. Ms. Lee?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This resolution is made this first day of September 2020 by the City of Phoenix City, the granting authority, to grant a tax abatement to Arbor Vita 8 LLC, the company. And whereas the company has announced plans for a new project to their existing facility located within the jurisdiction of the granting authority. And whereas pursuant to the Tax Incentive Reform Act of 1992, Code of Alabama 1975, the company has requested from the granting authority an abatement of all state and local non-educational property taxes and all construction-related transaction taxes, except those local construction-related transaction taxes levied for educational purposes or for capital improvements for education. Whereas the company has requested that the abatement of state and local non-educational property taxes be extended for a period of 5 years in accordance with the Act. And whereas the granting authority has considered the request of the company and the completed applications filed with the granting authority by the company in connection with its request. And whereas the granting authority has found the information contained in the company's application to be sufficient to permit the granting authority to make a reasonable cost-benefit analysis of the proposed project and determine the economic benefits to the community. And whereas the construction of the project will involve a capital investment of $3,471,500. And whereas the company is duly qualified to do business in the state of Alabama and has powers to enter into and to perform and observe the agreements and covenants on its part contained in the tax abatement agreement. And whereas the granting authority represents and warrants to the company that it has power under that Constitution and laws of the state of Alabama, including particularly provisions of the Act, to carry out the provisions of the tax abatement agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by the granting authority as follows. Section 1, approval is hereby given to the application of the company and abatement is hereby granted of all state and local non-educational property taxes and all construction-related transaction taxes except those local construction-related taxes levied for educational purposes or for capital improvements for education, as the same may apply to the fullest extent permitted by the Act. The period of abatement for the non-educational property taxes shall extend for a period of 5 years, measured as provided in Section 40-9B3A12 of the Act. Section 2. The governing body of the granting authority is authorized to enter into an abatement agreement with the company to provide for the abatement granted in Section 1. Section 3. A certified copy of this resolution with the application and abatement agreement shall be forwarded to the company to deliver to the appropriate local taxing authorities and to the Alabama Department of Revenue in accordance with the Act. Section 4. The governing body of the granting authority is authorized to take any and all actions necessary or desirable to accomplish the purpose of the foregoing of this resolution. Passed, approved, and adopted this first day of September 2020.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lee, and thank you for keeping me accountable. Sorry, I apologize for that. But council, we all have heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval. May I have a motion? Motion, Councilman Gordy. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Day. Comments or discussion, council?
Can we get Sean to elaborate on this like he did yesterday if he's with us?
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm here. Mayor, council, just as we discussed on Monday, in 2020, when development looks a little different, I'm excited to be able to bring to you guys a great project this morning. So this company's purchased a building off of Copeland Drive, actually inside the police jurisdiction and outside the city limits. So they'll be manufacturing, they'll be processing and extracting hemp. And just to be clear, hemp's, we're familiar with the CBD oils that have been extracted out of this is probably the most popular thing. However, hemp's in many end-use products. So anything from paper to rope and insulation to fuel. So a lot of these products will be able to, they'll be able to take to market from that hemp. So they're looking at 14 jobs. And out of those jobs, I'll give you a breakdown. The breakdown is 4 of those will be very high paid executives or officers in the company with salaries exceeding $150,000. And then the remaining amount of that is breakdown. You've got a couple engineers that'll be a part of that, and the rest will be hourly workers. And those hourly workers will be paid a wage of an entry wage of $15 an hour or more. So a good paying company. And their investment's a little over $3.4 million. So solid project and a solid company that we're welcoming to the community. And certainly one thing that it also does is it gives our 13 plus farms around the county an opportunity to be able to grow hemp as well and have a buyer in the market that's ready to buy the product.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. Any other comments or discussion, council?
Well, I'd like to say too, Sean, that this is all being done during this COVID-19 pandemic where most everything has slowed down. This company's moving forward. So I really appreciate their vision for this area in Phenix City and Russell County. So I'd just like to tell the people, thank you that are bringing this company to our area.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we certainly appreciate it to have an opportunity for new jobs. And we thanks so much. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Sean. Any other comments or discussion before?
Yes, sir, Mayor. As I listened to what Sean was stating a few minutes ago, it is a blessing to have a company such as that magnitude and the pay scale. I listened at the pay scale, and that is great for the city of Phoenix City, for the citizens of Phoenix City as well. And we welcome them here in our community. Also, Mayor, as we know, also the county also will be growing with the taxes when the thing gets started.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Me also, Mayor, and that I want to just piggyback off what Councilmember Day and Bailey also stated, but also to let the economic development team and city manager know that they continue to seek out industries that is very worthy of bringing additional jobs and high-paying jobs to our community. And so that is so well done in the midst of a pandemic. Yes, 2020 has brought on a lot of uncertainty, and we still don't know which way that's going to go. But our economic development team has been working diligently and very consistent with bringing industries that will put Phoenix City on the map and above others cities with competitive wages that is so needed in our community. So we want to thank the economic development manager and his team for seeking out industries like this.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you all so much.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes,
Sean,
sir.
we also mentioned who we work with. That was the owner of the building that's continuously working with us on a lot of things, and in the process of building another building for space to recruit other people here. Ms. Fred Copeland.
Absolutely, yes, sir. So Mr. Copeland had originally owned this building, then sold it, and then purchased it back, and he's been aggressively after finding someone to go in this building. So Mr. Copeland really deserves a lot of the credit here in being able to bring this company to us today. So absolutely, they've done a great job on this one, and will continue to help us with the next project they're working on as well.
Yeah, and he's in the process of building more space for people to have so we can compete also. So he's been a great partner and helping us recruit also.
Mr. Hunter, I'll add to that half the battle is having space. And so if we don't have space, it makes our competitiveness go down tremendously. So for those developers and those people out there that are producing that space, we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Copeland.
Thank you all so very much. With that said, at this time, council, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lowe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, council, on administration is a resolution in reference to amending resolution 2019-44 in reference to the ground lease with the Phenix City Housing Authority. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City, Alabama entered into a ground lease agreement with the Phenix City Housing Authority on February the 7th, 2019, approved by Resolution 2019-44. And whereas the city agrees to amend the original ground lease terms to allow the Phenix City Housing Authority until July the 1st, 2021, to pay the required capital lease in the amount of $400,000. And whereas should the Phenix Housing Authority fail to pay the city the required capital lease payment of $400,000, the ground lease shall be terminated per Section 3B of the amended lease. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama hereby authorizes the mayor, city manager, and city attorney to sign the amended ground lease attached hereto. Passed, approved, and adopted this first day of September 2020.
Okay. Council, we have all heard the reading of the resolution by our clerk. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval, please. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Day, and who was that, a second by?
Johnson.
Councilwoman Johnson. So council, we have the motion and the second, and at this time, I'd like to ask, are there any comments or discussion?
Yes, Mayor, Mr. Hunter, could we get somebody to elaborate on that for the citizens of Phoenix City? What this mean to the housing authority and what this mean to our citizens here in Phoenix City as well as the city? Thank you.
We want to talk on it, Steve.
Sure. This is just an amendment of the original lease that we did with them. Under the federal law rules, they have to have actual ownership or of the property, a title. And this lease gives them, the legal authority then to get the tax credits they need to complete this project. Once they get those tax credits approved, they'll pay the $400,000 to the city. This is will be an apartment complex up where the old Cobb Hospital used to be. It'll be targeted at veterans. Now, they can't be exclusively under federal rules, but it will be targeted at veterans. And it will be a big improvement to that area that is really suffered since the hospital closed, 30 years ago. And this will help along with the DHR building that's being built around the corner. It'll really help revitalize that area and make it a better environment for the people that live there.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Let me ask one other question, Mr. Hunter and Mr. Smith. I noticed it says they got until July the 1st, 2021. Let me ask this question. If they pay half of it, of 75% of it, and they have not paid all of it by July the 1st, 2021, do they get that money back, or how does that work? They
won't be doing that. It's an all or nothing type thing. if they get their tax credits, they will pay us the $400,000. If they don't get the tax credits for some reason, then the project will go away and it simply won't be done. And that's why we got the termination date of next July in there. But, you know, we fully expect this to happen. But you do, you know, depending on the federal government to come through with the tax credits. And once that's done, you know, the project will get underway. If for some reason it doesn't get done, obviously the project just won't get built.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And if you all don't mind, let me reiterate what Mr. Smith stated, that this would not be exclusively for veterans, because I know how some nuances can get started. There has to be a certain percentage of veterans that's the availability is for. Am I correct, Mr. Hunter and Mr. Smith?
That's correct, Mayor. They're targeting at veterans, and they're
Yes.
going, you know, and you know, the majority we hope to be there will be used by veterans, but under the federal rules that they have,
Exactly.
it can't be exclusive. They're just not allowed to do that.
Exactly.
Let's say this, and everybody should know this at this point in time. They're changing directors at the Housing Authority. When you change directions, sometimes change directions of a director, the direction of that particular body of people is going to change also. And that's why we set this up the way we did, because if they have this land and this person decide to go a different way, then that land is back in the city hands, and it may be, we may have someone that want to purchase the land. So we had to make sure everything's going to be available, that the city would have control of this again at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a one-time payment. It's not a let's make a deal here. It's they're going to pay for it. It's not a payment here and there that's going on. It's going to be one check that's going to be written.
Okay.
If that don't happen, that city, that particular land is right back in the city. And who knows, in these months that's going to go by, that we may have somebody out there that have other plans that might be on the waiting list. So that's why we structure and set up things like this, so it won't be anything that's going to drag out, because at this point in time, we don't know which way or which direction the housing authority is going to come with the next incoming person that's going to direct them. So we be cognizant of that also.
Mr. Hunter, let me ask you this. Let me see if I wrap my mind around this. I know where the property at up there on the hill. Did that include all the property up on the hill? Not include the property down under the hill where that building at?
No, the property is not under the hill, is not involved in this. It's on top.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's not even all of the property on top of the hill, Mr. Day. It's a little over half of the top of the hill there that they're taking, and we're working on, you know, plans for additional development up in that area, some of which we can, you know how economic development is. We can't always talk about, well, we have our plans.
Yeah.
But it's only a little over half of the property that's up on top of the hill, and none of the property down the hill is included in this.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you all so much. With that, council, at this time, Mrs. Lee, like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lowe?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, council, proceeding on the building department. We have a public hearing and approval of resolution in reference to the fixing of costs incurred by the city of Phenix City for removal of substandard structures and the establishment of special assessments upon properties located at 1305 7th Avenue, 401 15th Avenue South, 2407 and 2409 16th Court. So with that, council, at this time, I would like to declare this is the time for a public hearing. And if there's anyone that would like to address this council by phone, now is time to do so. And that phone will be 334-448-2726. So now I am declaring this as a public hearing. And if there's anyone that would like to address the council, now is the time to do so for the removal of these substandard structures. And again, that phone number is 334-448-2726. And council will, yes, ma'am.
I do have a couple of people, they weren't sure when to phone in. So if you can give me just a minute, I'm
We'll
going to try
give
to
them
contact them on the phone.
Okay.
May I speak with Curtis Kimber?
Speaking.
Hi, Mr. Kimber. I'm Melanie with the City of Phoenix City. I've got Mayor and Council here on Zoom. Mayor, can y'all hear Mr. Kimber?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, they can hear you. Can you hear them, Mr. Kimber?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I think Mr. Kimber wanted to address y'all regarding 1305 7th Avenue. Go ahead, Mr. Kimber.
Okay.
The price that I have on my letter was $2,200. Is that correct?
What was that, Mr. Kimber?
The price for the demolishing, I have a letter here that says $2,200. Is that the price?
If that's in the letter, based on what was sent, yes, that is the correct price.
That's on the resolution, but that is the correct price on the resolution. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, I'm kind of concerned with the way the system is set up. Now, since I wasn't given the opportunity to tear down, do we, as owner, have that opportunity to do so?
Mr. Griffith?
Yes, Mayor and Council. Once the council declares this a public nuisance, we put this out for bid. The owner has a very short time. He can tear it down, but we're talking weeks and not months. And that did not happen. So we went ahead with the demolition.
Mr. Kimber.
It wasn't ever noticed that how much time that I have.
Well, you would have the opportunity to tear it down before it was awarded to a contractor. And like I said, that's a matter of weeks, and we had that conversation.
He'll explain how much time elapsed between the time.
Mm-hmm.
How much time? Go ahead and say how much time went on.
This kind of breaking up.
This process started in 2014, November of 2014. We sent letters out.
November 20.
We sent letters out November 7th, 2014. Certified letter to abatement board letter in 15, and then we sent a 15-day letter in January of 20.
So
right, I follow you. I received a letter back in that time, but according to the letter, the house had to be torn down or brought up to spec, one or the other.
That was in 15. You had 5 years.
Okay, I mean, we not to go back and forth, but the system that I went through, okay, even back in 15, that many years ago, there wasn't nothing to say, your time's up, this is going to cost you X amount of dollars. The next letter was, you have 14 days to clear out. Now, because of the cost, and we tearing the house down, that's something I could have retrieved from the house, windows, doors, or something to help Savage to come up with a price. Now, not giving any kind of price, do the city council have some kind of funds or something to help us out?
What was that question? Something about some funds to help out. I mean, what the say? Say that,
I was
ask that
never
question
given the
again.
price beforehand. If I knew beforehand, you know, maybe we could have got the house down cheaper. You know, but because I wasn't given any price and I just have your price, do the city have any kind of funds or assistance to help us out?
No, sir. What this process is, Mr. Kimber, it's a lengthy process, as has been stated. And once you get to this point, the cost of the length of time of the notification that has been set out, it really puts us in a situation where this process can't be stopped. The cost of the time frame, and that's one of the reasons why certified letters are sent out. Because by law, we have to follow the regiment that Mr. Gill Griffith has mentioned, because there's a process.
And Mr. Kimber, we got bids on this property. We had one for 3,200. We had one for 4,100. We had one for 9,500, and we awarded the bid at 2,200. So in effect, we picked the lowest contractor to tear this down, and the gentleman that happened to tear this down, he uses that material, and that's why his price is so cheap.
Let me also, I hear one of our citizens on the phone. Here recently, let me just say, here recently, the city applied for a grant, approximately $250,000 to help with blighted areas and tear down homes. And so my question is, to help out our citizens, when and if we're awarded that grant, is there any type of monies that will help in situations like this?
That'll be if we awarded that. That has nothing to do with what's going on presently. That's in the future. If we, if we get that, it has nothing to do with the present day things that's in the, that we are dealing with right now.
Right. Okay.
That don't apply to that.
I made that statement as I was running for campaign, because it is important that our citizens know that we're trying to help out, and we're trying to make sure that, we clean up our community, and that just, part of it. But in order for us to continue doing what we're doing, it was very much needed to help us, again, like I say, tear down these homes that, these structures that are deemed unsafe. And but I know we've got to a point, and I just, again, say to all the citizens that can hear us right now discuss this, and that's what it's all about, this public hearing. Assessment has been made, and at some point, like I said, they will be responsible for these charges that has been put on tearing down the house. But I just hate that it gets to that point. And I've always been passionate about that. But we, as a city, as a community, has to do what is necessary and what is right. So, Mr. Kimber, if you, what have, again, kind of came forward and made sure that, you wanted to tear down the house. Since I've been on council, I know that has happened where an individual has been responsible for tearing down the house. And if you have any questions about anything, our building department going forward for anybody, a building department can address the time frame and the process on which this has taken place or will take place.
The building
Mr. Hunter, I like to pick.
Spent a lot of time with Mr. Kimber. That's why they're so familiar with him. This has been going on for long. It's one of the things that slipped through the loop down in the building department. And when they refreshed him on this and told him the amount of time that he had, it had gotten to this point. At the same time, you all got to remember, we have pressure on us in the building department from all of you all, council people, that are representing those districts when people are complaining about what's going on. So things that they have to go back in their record and take a look at and say, look, we have gone too far with this one, and other people can use this against us. that's when that owner has got to take care of their business. That's what this is. That's what's happened here. It's not that anybody don't want to help. People have tried to help, and it just got to this point.
Mr. Hunter, as I sit and listen to what you stated, well as Councilmember Johnson, that is so true. I've been on council 8 years, and we try to do things above board and treat everybody the same. Now, when it get, I listened at the time that Mr. Kimmel was given. Okay, that's a process that this goes through. I told my citizen District 3 this as well. There's some time that you're allowed, so much time, but sometimes our citizens wait till get to this point. Once they get to this point, there's no reversing, because we do reverse this, we are liable for a lawsuit here in Phenix City, and we don't want that. We try to treat every citizen the same. Thank you for that, Mr. Hunter, and that's all I have on that one.
And this is the other thing, so we can be clear, because people is watching this, and I don't want them saying that they don't go above to try to help people. Once that letter was received,
that's right.
You go to the building department and tell them, I am putting into action, because Mr. Griffith has come to us on several occasions and said this person came when they received their letter and they're going to tear it down, and we reverse things. Am I correct in that or not, Mr. Griffith?
Yes, sir, you're correct.
But you got to respond at that time. This is, you know, we hating things that's happened, but we can't correct everything else if the owner is not responding like they should.
And Mr. Kimber, the question you asked is about cost saving, but as Mr. Gill said, we follow the law of the land, and you put it out for bid, and the one that meets the specification with the lowest bid is typically what we go with. And he mentioned the number of bids that was put out and the price. So from a cost saving, we don't just pick something out of the air. It has to meet specification. In this case, it did, which was $2,200, which was way less than a lot of other bids that he and his department received. So we don't want anyone thinking that we don't work with them, as Mr. Hunter stated, but it gets to a point where this is non-reversible because of the time frame of the law that we follow.
Right, boy. Members, I have no problem with what happened to me. Now, that ain't the problem. Going forward for other citizens. Now, give them some date that this should be done. Give them a price. And if you're going to give us the opportunity to tear down ourselves, we need something to match with the price to allow you to tear down or me to tear down. But if I can get someone to tear down cheaper than you can, then give me that opportunity to do so.
Do you have the person who owns
with my situation, you know, I can deal with it. You know, I've been
person
a year that need to take people property, and I can understand why they say that now.
The person who owns the property has to.
You had that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I know how to determine what direction to go, and that's more favor in the citizen hand than it is in your hand.
Mr. Kimber.
Did you not have that opportunity?
Say it again?
Did you or did you not have that opportunity before it got to this point? Because you had that opportunity.
Without a price, what I'm saying.
You would have got your own price, Mr. Kimber.
The owner has to initiate that.
To do with the price that we got at that point in time. You would have been the one, since you were the owner of it, to say, I'm going to have it tear down. That was up to you. Now, when it fell into the building department, that was up to them at that point in time. But it had nothing to do with going that extreme amount of time to get to that point.
And Mr. Kimber.
That's what I said from the beginning. Didn't have the opportunity to tear it down because the letter stated you either have to come down or be fixed up to court.
And you did neither one of them.
You know, say it never got to that point.
Well, you did neither one.
But that wasn't nothing to say I didn't finish in this amount of time. It got to come down. So
Mr. Kimber.
Either remodeling or tearing it down, and I would work with remodeling.
Okay, Mr. Kimber, the owner of the property has to be the one to initiate once the process starts, the owner of the property or properties has to initiate the direction he or she will be going in, whether they will tear it down or remodel it. So the prices does not automatically come from the building department. The prices come after the process has been followed of giving the owner time to make a decision on what he or she wants to do. And they are the ones to initiate that. I can guarantee you this, Mr. Kimber, if it had been initiated by you, the building department would have worked with you and given you that amount of time. But the time frame lapsed, and that's why the process had to continue to go on. And that's where the process come up to where the cost was $2,200, which is the lowest bid that meets the specs. But the owners has to initiate what step they want to take. And in this process, what we are hearing, that was never done by you.
Correct.
And so that's the process. But I can assure you they would have worked with you if you had just told them what your plans were. And, you know, they would not know what you can get it torn down for or what the cost would be to remodel it. But it is up to the owners to initiate that once the process starts, before we get to the point where it is bidded out. Okay?
Yes, sir, I hear you, but okay, we won't have to go back and forth. But now, in order to pay this off, what process that I go through to pay it?
That should be on your tax bill from Russell County.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll send me.
They'll send you your tax bill, and it'll be on your tax bill.
And that's something, like I said, had to be paid all at once?
You'll have to work that through Russell County.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need to get in touch with them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Councilman, that's all I have. I appreciate your time. I'll be blessed.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kimber. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank
Council,
you.
we're still in the period of this has been a public hearing, and if there's anyone else that would like to call in, or if our clerk needs to reach out to anyone else. Mrs. Lee, do you need to reach out?
Yes, sir. Janice and Charles Hightower would like to address y'all about 2407 and 2409 16th Court. So give me just a second and I'll get them on the phone.
Okay. Thank you.
Phone's not doing it. There it goes.
This on property 2407 and 2409 16th Court, Council.
Hello? Huh? May I speak with Janice or Charles Hightower?
It's Janice.
Hi, Ms. Hightower. I'm
This is
Melanie.
Janice.
Hi, Ms. Hightower. I'm Melanie with the City of Phenix City. I've got you on speakerphone. Mayor and council are together on Zoom, and they can hear you, and they're going to be talking with you. And if you'd like to go ahead and address them regarding the property at 2407 and 2409 16th Court.
Oh, okay. You want me to say what I'm, okay. First of all, we didn't get any notices that saying that you all was going to tear the buildings down. We were looking for y'all. If you were going to do anything, you should have at least called us. And the only notice that we got was when you all sent us that bill for $3,200.
Okay. Mr. Griffith?
Yeah, sir. We initially, both of these structures are on the same piece of property, so we treated them as two, but it's really one.
I can barely hear you. I'm going to pull over in 2 seconds.
Give her just a second. She was in her vehicle driving. She's going to pull over, Gil.
Okay.
Let us know when you're ready, Ms. Hightower.
Okay, all right. Give me about 2 minutes. I'm getting ready to pull off right now.
Okay, you ready?
Okay. Okay.
All right, Mr. Gil Griffith is going to explain to you about the letters, okay?
Wait, say it again?
Gil Griffith, he's going to explain to you about the letters, about notifying you, okay?
On November the 7th,
Let me say this. My understanding is that you all send 2 notices, but on both notices, we never got it. And the first notice that you all sent us, somebody signed our name to it, and it wasn't us, and we had moved out of the place, and we got proof of all of that. And then the second time you supposed to have been, I came down there, about 2 days ago, and you send another notice, but we don't live there either. But the third notice that you sent us, you sent it to the right address, and I just can't understand why was that.
all right, the first notice mailed out on November the 7th, 2018. We sent that to Charles Hightower, 4048 Smithfield Forest Drive, Pleasant Grove, Alabama.
Correct.
And that was what was on the tax paperwork. We go down to the Russell County Tax Assessor's office and pull the tax paperwork for this address, and that's what it come out to, and that's where we have to mail that letter. On May the 2nd, 2019, we sent a letter to a Charles Hightower, 3009 Avenue F, Birmingham, Alabama. And that was returned undeliverable. But again, that's where the tax paperwork said to send the letter to. And also, every time we send a letter, we put it on the structure and take a picture of it. If you was coming to town looking at your structure, you would see those notices on the structure. And then we sent
3009. When was that sent out now?
May the 2nd, 2019.
He said May the 2nd.
2019, you said?
That's right.
Oh, okay. Well, we actually never received none of those papers that you all sent, notices that you all sent out. None of them.
And
Nothing but the
also,
last one. And that was at the right address.
Phone number, I'll call you as soon as I get off this city council.
also on January the 31st.
He's looking from the house.
Steve, you need to put on mute. We're picking you up, Steve Bailey. Okay.
On January the 31st, 2020, we sent out what we call a 15-day letter giving you 15 days to get the valuables out of it if you want any. That went to Pittsview Holding. They bought the property at a 2018 tax sale, and they signed for that letter. We also posted this letter on the structure. And that's all the letters that we send.
Yeah, somebody else had bought it, but I was really related to that we did not get the information the proper information that we should have got.
Then Mrs. Hightower.
We got that.
Mr. Griffin stated that the property was sold on the 31st of this.
I don't understand that.
But you know the reason why. You know the reason why it sold was because the taxes had not been paid. So did you all not know that, Mrs. Hightower?
Wait, your phone kind of breaking in and out. Say it again.
I stated that on the January 31st of this year, that the property was bought because of the taxes had not been paid. and they auction it off. Did you all not know that until you all?
Yes, we knew about that. Yes, but we also came back again and we would redeem the property back.
Okay, you all redeemed it, but the process had already been put in place.
So what was already been put in place?
The process going back to 2018, November of 2018.
Oh, well, what I'm saying is that we should have got more information before then. Prior to this last letter that you all sent us for the $3,200 on there, we should have gotten something else at the 1701 26th Avenue North. That's what I'm getting at right here.
Ms. Hightower, if I can, I'm Councilman Gordy. I think the miscommunication is coming in where the first two notices we sent, the only address we can send it to is what's on the tax record. So we have to follow what's on the tax record. So the places we sent those notices to is what was told to us by the tax records. So that's really not, I mean, all we can do is send it to those addresses.
Mm-hmm.
If those are wrong addresses, there's no way for us to know that. We just have to go by what we get on the tax record and send it to those addresses. So if that's not the correct address, that really shouldn't fall on us because we're just following what we're supposed to do from following what we get from the tax records.
But you sent the $3,200 at the right address.
Well, that's because something had changed in the tax records that gave us the correct address. The notices previously, that was not the address that was listed.
And it's already recorded.
Not at the. It was recorded correctly after it was purchased because of the taxes. That's when it was corrected. But as Councilman Gordy stated, is that the process that we have to follow by law is what Mr. Griffith explained as far as getting the addresses of the property owner through the tax abatement office. So, and that's what he did, and that's where we send the certified letters to. And we would not know any other addresses other than those that is being reported, who's the owner of the property is, because as you know, that's how the county keeps up with the property taxes that is being paid on properties. So we follow that process to the letter of the law.
But somewhere down in around about I don't know when you send your letters and everything out, but you should have got something at 1701. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Well, even if we send it to the wrong address, which is the only address we could send it to because it's the only one there, we still posted on the structure as well. So even in case we do send it to the wrong address, we've got it posted on the structure that you owned. So there's a different way that you could see it if the notice did not get to you through mail.
Yeah, well, actually, we don't live in Opelika, so.
Yes, ma'am, but that's your structure. You have to,
Yeah, we got that out there, but I'm just saying this other, and we don't live in Phenix City, so we wouldn't have got whatever you put there. We wouldn't have never got it anyway. But the proper thing for y'all should have did was send us the notice of 1701, and we would have gotten it just like we got that $3,200 notice.
But we didn't have that address, Ms. Hightower. That's not ours. It's not when we went to the tax abatement to see what your address was. That's not the address they provided us. So we would have had no way to know that was the address we were supposed to send it to.
Ms. Hightower, I want to ask you one question. My name is Councilman Day. I want to ask you one question, please, ma'am. You said you all own that property over there. Did you not visit the property during those times?
Wait a minute, I can barely hear you. I'm counting the street, but I can barely hear you. Say it again now.
I said my name is Councilman Day. The property that you all own.
Okay.
Did y'all have the opportunity to visit those property at any time?
I'm sorry, but I still can't hear you, sir. Say it again one more time.
He asked if you had the opportunity to visit the property at any time during this process.
Did I have access to visit it?
Opportunity.
Did you check on your property here located in Phenix City at any point?
Eric, periodically, every now and then we would visit it.
And she should have seen those posted on the structures there.
Well, we got one of them that you already posted, but we didn't get anything else. We just only got one that you all posted.
Mrs. Hightower, I will say this is that the building department, this council, and the city has followed the law of the land, and it gets to a point because of the time frame that we have to follow by law for the owners. It gets to a point where we can't turn it around. That's why it's a lengthy process, because we try to do everything where it would give the owners the opportunity to either fix it up or tear it down themselves. And I hear you saying that you all never got the certified mail in 2018 or 2019. But as Councilman Gordon stated, the only thing by law we can follow is the tax abatement, that not the tax abatement, but the office that says where the owner of the property is living at that time. In the time when those statements went out in 2018 and 2019, those were the addresses that our building department followed. And by law, that's the only thing we can do. We do not have time, or it's not right for us to just check and make sure that this mail is going here or this mail going here. That's the reason why we do it certified. And again, you know, we follow the law of the land, and I just hate to say, and we apologize, but it gets to a point where, you know, we can't stop this process.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I'm looking at an abatement board letter that we posted and took a picture on May the 3rd, 2019. And also we put the 15-day letter up February the 3rd, 2020. And that abatement board letter is still on the structure. So there was about 8 months there that it was sitting there and nobody touched it.
Mayor, may I say something?
Yes, sir.
It'd been real simple if anybody that had ownership of that property had been interested in taking care of the property and the upkeep of it, checking on the condition of it, all the neighbors around it. If any of them had been interested in it, they should have come down somewhere within the last couple of years, cut grass, trim bushes, look at the condition of their property. Because no one took any interest in it, even without the letters being sent to them, they would have seen those, and that's why it got to this point.
Right.
I can vouch for that. But first of all, during that period when all that stuff had happened, and the grass and everything was up, my husband was in the hospital. He stayed in there a half of a year. He stayed in the hospital, so with brain surgery, and so that's one reason why the everything had grown up, because I had to be like around the clock with him, and it really wasn't nobody but just the two of us had to deal with those properties. So, I mean, I know that might not be an excuse, but that is the excuse that we had. You know, the reason why we hadn't, because we usually would come down there every other weekend and check on the properties and see what was going on. But after he went into the hospital, it wasn't nothing that we can do during that period, because it was like a round-the-clock, 24-hour thing. Didn't know whether we were going to make it or not. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. And I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just saying that's just the way it was.
Well, listen, let me say this. This is Eddie Lowe, Mayor Lowe. You certainly did the right thing. As I have a saying that I say, first thing first, and that certainly took priority, and you did the right thing. However, I wish that in the midst that you could have contacted our building department, and of course all of this, and I would tell you they work with people. graciously. They go over the top to work with people. And I certainly apologize and ask that you forgive this council. But they have the fiduciary responsibility to follow the law of the land, and that's what they've done. But I do want to say you certainly did the right thing, and that is far more important. However, we just got to this point where they did not know, and when they bring it to the council, there's no way we would know, and we should know. We have to, follow what they're telling us, that they've always been correct and right in following that process. So I just want to speak on behalf of this council. I do apologize. We do apologize, but it just gets to a point where we can't stop the process.
Wait. Could you repeat that? I didn't hear the last part.
I said we just get to the point where we can't stop this process, and that you certainly did the right thing as far as taking care of your loved ones. And as I always say, first thing first, and that certainly took priority. But we have the responsibility in our building department. If there was some way you could have contacted them, I assure you they would have worked with you over and beyond. However, understanding the situation that you were in, which is the right path to take, I just want to apologize for myself and on behalf of this council that it just get to a point where we just can't stop the process because of the time frame that has been already passed.
Right, I understand.
Okay. Okay, and we trust that you and your family is doing fine, but again, we just want to deeply apologize for this situation.
Right.
Okay. And just thank you so very, very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I want to explain our part of it.
Okay. Well, again, we apologize, but we do thank you for attending this public hearing.
Wait. Say it again now.
I said, again, we apologize, and we just thank you for attending this public hearing. And we just pray and trust that everyone is okay on your end as well as our end. But I do want to just reiterate, the process it has passed, and we can't stop it at this point.
I can hardly hear you, but I hear a lady there playing.
Melanie, can you
just repeat it, what I said, Melanie?
Yes, sir.
Could you repeat what you said?
Yes, Ms. Hightower. The mayor was just thanking you for calling in and being a part of the public hearing and voicing your concerns. But the process is where it's at now, and they're going to have to follow it through to the end.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hightower.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mrs. Lee, is there anyone else?
No, sir. That was the only ones I knew about.
Okay. Has anyone tried to call you?
No, sir. No one has phoned in while we were on the phone.
Okay. So, council, at this time, I am declaring this public hearing is over with. And at this time, council, I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of the resolution. And if the pleasure of the council, we'll take these all in one setting. Okay?
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
You want me to read it and then we can take?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Whereas the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama was requested by the building official of the city to authorize the demolition and removal of substandard structures at the following locations in Phenix City: 1305 7th Avenue, 401 15th Avenue South, 2407 and 2409 16th Court. Whereas the City Council on the 3rd day of March 2020 by resolution number 2020-76, by resolution number 2020-77, and by resolution number 2020-78 and 2020-79, approved the apparent low bid to demolish and or remove said substandard structures located on each property listed above. And whereas the city has given notice by certified or registered mail to the person or persons last assessed for ad valorem taxes for each property, and a notice has been published in the Citizen of East Alabama, a local newspaper of general circulation, at least 15 days before this final hearing for the fixing of cost for each property. And whereas after giving all interested parties an opportunity at this public hearing to address council on this, the first day of September, on the issue of the fixing of cost in these cases, the City Council believes the fixing of costs have been determined and that they should be assessed against the substandard structures as named above and recorded in the probate office to protect the interest of the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama as follows. 1, that the final cost in the removal of the substandard structures at the following locations are as follows. 1305 7th Avenue, $2,200. 401 15th Avenue South, $2,950. 2407 and 2409 16th Court, $3,200. 2, that the city clerk file a certified copy of each resolution with the probate judge of Russell County, Alabama, a special assessment that shall constitute a lien of Phenix City, Alabama upon each property that shall be collected through the Revenue Commissioner's Office for Russell County, Alabama. 3, that the legal description for each property is listed on each individual resolution for that particular property is taken from the records of the Revenue Commissioner's Office of Russell County, P.O. Box 669, Phenix City, Alabama. 4, that the property owners listed below for each property are as shown on the tax records of Russell County, Alabama. 1305 7th Avenue, Curtis Kimber, 10 Stagg Drive, Phenix City, Alabama, 36867. 401 15th Avenue South, Lockhart Development Company, LLC, 2017 tax sale, 1214 Clubhouse Road, Columbus, Georgia, 31903. 2407 and 2409 16th Court, Dave Hightower, deceased. Attention Charles Hightower, 228th Street, John Drive, Birmingham, Alabama. Passed, approved, and adopted this first day of September 2020.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lee. Council, we've heard the reading of the master resolution of these properties. And at this time, Council, I would like to call for a motion to approve this resolution.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second that.
Okay, is that a second by Councilwoman Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other discussions or comment, Council? Okay, if not, at this time, we'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, Council, under the Building Department, we have a resolution in reference to rescinding resolution number 2020-211 in reference to the demolition of structures located at 1304 17th Court. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama, that resolution number 2020-211 approved August the 18th, 2020 in reference to setting the public hearing date for the fixing of cost for the demolition of structure located at 1304 17th Court is hereby rescinded. Passed, approved, and adopted this first day of September 2020.
Okay, Council, each of us have heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for approval, please. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Gordon. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey.
Yes.
Okay. Council, any comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
And proceeding on the Building Department, Council, we have a resolution and public notice in reference to setting a public hearing date and fixing demolition costs associated with 1304 17th Court, Phenix City, Alabama. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama has been informed by the building official of the city that a substandard structure located at 1304 17th Court, Phenix City, Alabama was in need of demolition or removal. And whereas the city of Phenix City, Alabama has solicited sealed bids as required by Alabama law, and the apparent low bidder meeting the specifications required for the demolition of the substandard structure was J&J Land Development Incorporated, the bid and dumping fees being $6,000, and the demolition and final inspection being completed on the 31st day of July, 2020. And whereas the city is required by law to give notice by certified or registered mail to the person last assessed for ad valorem taxes before the final fixing of cost, and a copy of the resolution is to be published in the Citizen of East Alabama, a newspaper of local and general publication in Russell County, Alabama. And whereas the building official of the city of Phenix City, Alabama was authorized to proceed with the demolition and or removal of the substandard structure with the apparent low bidder at the approved bid price. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama as follows. That the city clerk give notice by certified or registered mail to the person last assessed for ad valorem taxes, and a copy of this resolution be published in the Citizen of East Alabama newspaper one time before the final fixing of cost and establishment of a special assessment upon the property as required by law. 2, that the date for fixing of costs before the City Council shall be October the 6th, 2020 at 9 a.m. in the Council Chambers, 1111 Broad Street, or by platform Zoom. 3, that at such public hearing, any person interested in this property, as well as the person last assessed for ad valorem taxes, should appear and give reason, if any, why the City Council should not establish a special assessment upon the property for the cost of the demolition or removal of the substandard structure, which the owner of the property had either failed or refused to do after it had become a public danger or health hazard. 4, the sum of $6,000 shall be levied against the property located at 1304 17th Court, Phenix City, Alabama, as a special assessment and shall constitute a lien against the property to be collected through the Revenue Commissioner's Office for Russell County, Alabama. The council notes that the parcel identification number of said property is 050515 2201042.0000. 5, that the property owners as shown on the tax records of Russell County, Alabama is Jimmy L. Tucker, 2019 tax, P.O. Box 591, Hurtsboro, Alabama 36860. The public notice reads as follows. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama will meet on October the 6th, 2020 at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the Council Chambers, 1111 Broad Street, or by platform Zoom, to consider the fixing of cost incurred by the City of Phenix City for the demolition and or removal of a substandard building or structure located at 1304 17th Court, Phenix City, Alabama. The legal description follows. Any person, firm, or corporation having any interest in the above described property should appear before council at the aforementioned time and place if they have any objections as to why the fixing of cost for the removal of the substandard building or structure should not be assessed as a lien against the property taxes upon which the substandard building or structure was located. This the first day of September 2020.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lee. Catch your breath. Council, we have all heard the reading of the resolution as well as the public notice. And I would like to ask at the pleasure of the council that we take both of these in one vote. And with that said, council, I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of the reading of the resolution as well as the reading of the public notice. May I have a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
All right, motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordy. Any questions or comments? Okay, if not, at this time, call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lowe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next on the Parks and Recreation Department Council is a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to sign contract documents awarding a bid to Amazing Scapes in the amount of $62,880 annually for 3 years for landscape maintenance. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City has solicited sealed bids as required under the Alabama bid law for landscape maintenance for Broad Street, Dillingham Park, Moon Lake at Idlehour Park, Whitewater Avenue and Renfro's Market on Highway 431 South. And whereas bids were received for a 3-year contract for said landscape maintenance from only one qualified bidder meeting the specifications as required to provide landscape maintenance. And whereas the qualified bidder was Amazing Scapes for the 3-year price, $188,640 over the term of the contract. And whereas the bid price breaks down monthly to be $1,170 for Broad Street, Dillingham Park, $2,650 for Moon Lake at Idlehour Park, $1,030 for Whitewater Avenue, and $390 for Renfro's Market, for a total monthly cost of $5,240 and a total annual cost of $62,880. And whereas the bid price for the first 12 months of the contract is $62,880, is $880 over budget for 2020-2021. The Parks and Recreation Department plans to pay for the overage out of its 2020-2021 general operations budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize the mayor and city manager to accept this apparent low bid, provided it meets the specifications called for to Amazing Scapes. Passed, approved, and adopted this first day of September 2020.
Okay, council, we've all heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion for approval. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
That's motion, Councilman Gordon, and second, Councilwoman Johnson.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. We have the motion and second. Council, are there any comments or discussion? Okay, if not, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lowe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next on the Utilities Department, Council, we have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to enter into a contract agreement with City Base to purchase a wall kiosk in the amount of $72,000 with an ongoing monthly maintenance fee of $250 for the first 3 years. Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Phenix City, Alabama wishes to provide a convenient way for utility customers to pay bills. And whereas the city has received a proposal from City Base to provide a kiosk where customers can pay at any time. And whereas the proposal from City Base to purchase the through-the-wall kiosk is for $72,000 with ongoing monthly maintenance fee of $250 for the first 3 years. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama hereby authorizes the mayor, city manager, and city attorney to purchase the through-the-wall kiosk from City Base in the amount of $72,000 with a monthly fee of $250 for the first 3 years. Passed, approved, and adopted this first day of September 2020.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Lee. Council, each of us have heard the reading of the resolution. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion for approval, please.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Bailey. May I have a second?
Second.
Who was that? Councilman Day?
Yes.
Okay. We have the motion and the second. Are there any comments or discussion, council?
Just a quick comment. You know, this is so good where the city citizens will be able to pay their bill 24/7. And so that's just a step in the right direction. This is innovative solution at its best. So thank the city utility director for kind of looking into this and making this option available for our citizens. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask something, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
When will this be installed?
Once we get the approval of the council, we'll issue a purchase order to the company and they will give us a date. Of course, they've got to order the equipment and arrange to have it installed in the wall. But I won't know that until we issue the PO and they can give us a delivery date of the equipment, but I'll let the council know. And of course, the public know. We'll put notices out as soon as we have a date that we know it's going to become available.
That's good because like you stated yesterday, I walk across the street to pay my bill and you got to stand in line for that one window and you have people turning on service, people getting service turned back on, people swapping service over somebody's name, somebody trying to pay a bill, and that line can get real long and it gets real hot out there real quick. So this is going to be a blessing for everybody. This COVID-19 is not going to last forever, but it still will make it easier for people to walk inside and do what they need to, or walk right up to the front door, what they need to do, and then get right back in the automobile. So it's going to be a blessing, and I look for it just as soon as we can get it. So thank you for coming up with this idea.
Well, it will move as quickly as possible, and it gives people the opportunity. They can come in on the weekend where their work situation is maybe they can't get by here during our office hours. They can come by, at any time, day or night, and pay their bill at the kiosk that'll be in the front wall. And this will be, I think, a good opportunity for us to give just a little better service to our citizens, and hopefully reduce the lines at the window, and then later, hopefully we get through this COVID process and get our lobby back open. It'll reduce the lines from our clerical people there. And as I said, it will save us a little bit of money, but it's mostly being put there is just an additional way for our citizens can pay and better service to our customers.
It's going to be very nice for everybody, and like you said, it's going to be something that they'll continue to use in the future. So this COVID-19, it'll get a lot of use right now, but when this is over, it'll still get a lot of use. So that's well done and well thought out by y'all. So thank you very much for doing that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Thank you, Steve Smith. So if there's no other comments or discussion at this time, we'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next, council, on the ordinance, we have a public hearing and a second reading. It's an ordinance to rezone 1.16 acre tract of land located at 1600 13th Place, running and shows the owner. So council, now is the time that I would like to declare this as a public hearing. And if there's anyone that would like to address this council in reference to this rezoning, now is the time to do so. And the phone number to call in is 334-448-2726. Again, the phone number to call in is 334-448-2726. And again, I am declaring this as a public hearing. So if there's anyone that would like to address the council and by phone, now is the time to do so. Mrs. Lee, is there anyone that you may need to call that has requested it?
No, sir. Now, Mr. Jimmy
Okay.
Wetzel, was contacted by him yesterday that he's representing the owner, Mr. Shows, and he's available. I have his phone number if y'all have any questions, or he may even be zooming in. He may be as a citizen, he may have to get bumped up in our Zoom. If y'all had any questions, we could bump that up and y'all could address him.
Okay, this public hearing is still open. If there's anyone that again would like to address this council via phone, the number is 334-448-2726. Give them a few more minutes due to the fact that it's done virtually through phone. Okay, council, it appears that we do not have anyone that would like to address council via phone. So I am declaring this public hearing closed. And at this time, again, I would not ask the clerk to reread this ordinance due to the fact that it is a second reading, but I would like to ask for a motion for the approval of this ordinance. May I have a motion to approve, council?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Bailey. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordy. Comments or discussion, council? Okay. If not, Mrs. Lee, call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, council, proceeding on the board appointments. On the first one, we have a personnel review board. We have 2 openings. We have Miss Barbara Mitchell as well as Bobby Gilcrease. And at this time, I do know that they have been contacted, but we still want to follow the process. So council, I am declaring this nomination open. And I know both of these persons has been contacted and they both have agreed to serve. But again, we still need to go through the format of opening this nomination. And at this time, is there anyone that would like to make any nomination for Mrs. Barbara Mitchell? Now's the time to do so.
At this time, Mayor, I re-nominate Ms. Bobby Mitchell for the Personnel Review Board.
Okay, we have a nomination by Mr. Councilman Day. So we have the nomination and we will take these separately. So at this time, I am closing this part of the nomination and I am asking council for the motion to approval of the reappointment of Barbara Mitchell to the Personnel Review Board. May I have a motion to approve? Motion by Councilman Gordy. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bailey. Okay, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, council, I am open the nominations up. Again, as I stated earlier, Mr. Bobby Gilcrease has already been contacted and he has graciously also agreed to serve. And so with that, I am going to ask and open the nomination up at this time. Is there anyone that would like to nominate Mr. Bobby Gilcrease to be reappointed to the Personnel Review Board? Now is the time to do so. Anyone that would like to nominate Mr. Gilcrease? Bobby Gilcrease.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Mr. Bobby Gilcrease to be reappointed to the Personnel Review Board.
Okay, we have the nomination from Councilman Bailey. So I am declaring this nomination closed. And at this time, council, I would like to ask for a motion for the approval of the reappointment of Mr. Bobby Gilcrease to be reappointed to the Personnel Review Board. May I have a motion to approve? Reappoint.
Approve.
Motion to reappoint by Councilwoman Johnson, and that's a second by Councilman Day. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So at this time, I'd like to call on Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, council, on the board appointments, we have an opening on the Planning Commission and one opening on Annie Lindsay. Also, she has been contacted by our clerk and she has graciously also agreed to serve. So now, council, I am opening nomination up, and at this time would like to ask for anyone to nominate. Is there anyone that would like to nominate Mrs. Annie Lindsay? Now's the time to do so.
At this time,
Mayor and council, I'd like to nominate, Mrs. Annie Lindsay to the Planning Commission.
Okay, we have a nomination. So at this time, I am declaring the nomination closed. And now, council, at this time, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the reappointment of Annie Lindsay to serve on the Planning Commission Board.
motion to reapprove.
Reappoint.
Reappoint, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have the motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. Okay, at this time, council, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, proceeding on the license application. This is also a second reading, council. And it's an application for an off-premise beer license and off-premise wine license submitted by Deborah Miller for Family Dollar Stores of Alabama, LLC, doing business as Family Dollar Store, number 20296, located at 1113 East 280 Bypass, Phenix City, Alabama. The first reading was held on the 18th of August, and I will not ask the clerk to reread this due to it is a second reading. However, I will ask for a motion to approve this license application. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion by Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. Okay, call for the vote. Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Day,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy,
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, proceeding on. We do not have anything on the city attorney, and we certainly is gracious of that. And at this time, council members, I would like to ask if there's anything anyone would like to say, any council member.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all those folks that ran for the school board at this time, and I wish them well and want to thank them for giving up themselves for serving their community as well. I also want to take the opportunity to congratulate Ms. Johnson, able to retain the 2nd District Council seat. I want to congratulate her on that as well. And also, Mayor, we continue to receive positive feedback on 5th Street South. We continue to, everybody talking about how good that looked and what a good job the city have done. And we just want to continue to give praise to those that were involved in that project down there on 5th Street South. It looked real good. That's all I have at this time, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Any other council member with any other comments?
Thank you, Councilmember Day, for that. I really, really appreciate it. I would also like to take an opportunity to congratulate our city employees for their tenure here at the city. Continue to do the great works that you're doing. We're so proud to have you, very honored to have you as employees of the city. And also, I want to acknowledge again the Public Safety Week, how important that is. We definitely could not be the city that we are without our public safety department and division within our city and surrounding cities. So thank you, Public Works, for the great work that you're doing. And yes, we will continue supporting your initiative within the city. We could not be the city we are without you. So thank you. And I would just also like to say, I think it's really kind of hit me now. We're about to canvass the results in a short while. So it's a breath of sigh for me to know that the citizen thought so much of me to re-elect me to this post. And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you to the citizen, particularly in District 2, for coming out, exercising your right to vote. And thank you to all of the candidates for taking part in the electoral process. That is something that is, I believe, is just one of the highest priority as a citizen to exercise our civic right. So thank you for taking participating in the electoral process, and congratulations to all of you, everyone that won their seat. Congratulations, and even to all the candidates. I know that I will continue to work hard and do my very best to represent you as your continued council member for Post 2. So thank you so much. And I just am immensely grateful for the opportunity to serve our community. Thank you so much. And I love you. And if there's anything that I could do within the guidelines of our charter, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Thank you. Anyone else?
If I could, Mayor, just a second, I'd like to reiterate what I said yesterday at the work session. We've got a real good city. We got the same team on board that's been here for 4 years working together. We know each other pretty well by now. And we don't always agree on everything. We do disagree sometimes, but as you stated in the past, we disagree with dignity. We disagree with each other's feelings in mind, and we don't never bring it to a point to where it becomes personal. We keep everything according to the guidelines of what you believe is best for your individual self or your districts, ever how you want to look at it. Because me and Ms. Johnson and Mr. Day represent districts, but we represent the city with our votes. So we all, work real hard to make our districts the best in the city. Each one of us have all our citizens, well-being in mind, but also everybody needs to understand that, our city's run by the city manager. He's done a real good job of putting people in position in all the departments, and we've got some wonderful department heads. We saw that today with some issues with, some people that called in with our building department, but our building department did everything they were supposed to do by the letter of the law, followed everything perfectly, just like Councilman Gordy said, did everything we could to, make it right for everybody. But our workers in our city work real hard to do their job. We saw that today with several of them having 5 years and 10 years and 15 years in. And the last meeting we had people with, 20 and 25 and even one with 30 years with the fire department. So we need to remember how hard they work to do their job perfectly, to make their bosses look good, which makes our city manager look good, which makes us look good. And so, we don't do this for ourselves. As you've stated in the past, we can't do this job trying to keep this job. You have to do this job the correct way, which is do everything for the citizens, follow the letter of the law, follow our charter, as Ms. Johnson said, and, do everything transparent to where, everybody understands why it was done and where it came from. And one other thing, the proclamation that was passed today and will be signed, everyone needs to remember how hard it is a job to do with our first responders, whether they're sheriffs, whether they're police officers, EMSs, firemen, whatever. They have the toughest job in the world because they're answering calls, not knowing what's going to be at that call. Each one of us probably, when we answer the phone, answer the door, we know what to expect right there. They do not. They go into situations that they have no knowledge of. They just know they were called there and they have to show up. COVID-19 has been a hard thing on them, and they have even stepped up to the call and stepped up to the plate. And I know they watch out for their personal safety, department heads and all the chiefs and everybody, making sure of that. But yet that individual is still walking up to the door, still answering that accident, answering that call that maybe the 911 gets. And it's such a hard thing for them to do. And we really need to understand what this world would be without them. We would be in such a mess. We would be in a place that we never would recover from. And we just actually have some wonderful, wonderful first responders in this city. And I congratulate every one of them. And I thank each one of them for in my opinion, the perfect job that they do. And I just wanted to say that, go on record stating that, because, I think everybody in the city right now, in my opinion, are in the proper positions to do the best jobs for the citizens of this city. And I really think we're going to see some big changes and move forward in the next 4 years. And I'm excited about it and just tickled to death to be along for the ride again. So I just want to tell everybody thank you, and thank each one of y'all for putting up with me and, allowing me to be part of y'all's council. And thank you. What a good job each one of y'all do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank all the council members. Mr. Gordy, anything you want to say?
I'm good.
I do want to say this before I turn it over to the city manager, and then I'll come back and close this out. We are blessed to be able to have the stability and the consistency with our council. And I say that with Mrs. Johnson getting back in as to represent District 2. But also with that comes a great, great responsibility on all of us who are the leaders of this community, that we have to continue to push forward the right way for the right reason, being selfless, thinking about others more than we do ourselves. So there's a lot of high expectation upon us because of the stability, and we would not want to have it any other way. But I do want to say this, and I could only think and believe that when the government of this city changed back in 1977 to the form that it is now, it was a mechanism that put in place, as I stated yesterday, and just want to reiterate some things I said yesterday, that really put this community in a position where we could as I said yesterday, to be dynamite. And the dynamite is used for good, that the only way that we can be that dynamite, where we can explode as a city with progress and growth, is that it is vitally important, mission critical, that the city charter was put in place for us to follow. And once you follow that city, once you follow that charter, this community can continue to explode. And that's what we're seeing right now. And if we don't do that, and if we had not done that, we probably would not be in the position we're in as far as the growth of this community and the opportunities we have, the financial situation that we are in. Is strictly based upon us being obedient to the charter and allowing the city manager and his team to do their work. And I say that to say this, just want to reiterate. We have come upon a historical point in our community with an elected school board. And I want to make sure that we all understand this, that it will be challenging, but the most mission critical point, as this council has followed the charter, is that every newly elected school board member has to realize that they have to follow the ordinance that is put in place for an elected school system and or either an appointed school system. I've been blessed to be able to serve on both of them. I was on the school board, as some of you all may know, for 12 years, the president for 9 years. And let me say this, and I want to express to the new elected school board member, and congratulations to you all. But it's going to be mission critical and vitally important that you follow the governance of what's been put in place to move our school system. Because as I've stated, and I continue to state, and this is so critically important, that the city is only as good as our school system, and our school system is only as good as our city. That's two organizations. That's the nucleus of the growth and the prosperity of the city. And I say that to say this. It's going to be mission critical that the board members, elected school board members, follow the ordinance that has been put in place to govern it. Is that you do not run the day-to-day operation. The city council do not run the day-to-day operation. That's why we have a city manager. That's why you have a superintendent. Is that we only have one employee, and that's our city manager. The school board only has one employee, and that is the superintendent, Randy Wilkes. The city manager runs the city. The superintendent runs the school system. And for us to continue to explode as dynamite does for good, it's going to be mission critical that the school board and this council continue to follow those ordinances and those governance. And we stay out of the day-to-day operation. And I just want to make sure that everyone understands that, because I have been on both sides. And when you follow that guidance, you will only prosper. We are not to interfere with the day-to-day operation. School board members is not to interfere with the day-to-day operation. Randy Wilkes is the person who's responsible for that. He answers to you all. You don't answer to the employees, and the employees doesn't answer to you all. They only answer to him. And the responsibility is to make sure that the policy, procedure, and equity is being followed. That's our job as a council. That's the job as a newly elected school board. And I will tell you this, in 2014, when Sachs came in for the accreditation of our school system, the worst grade that was received was the interference of the day-to-day operation of the school board at that time. We can ill afford to allow that to happen. We are responsible for making it better, pushing it better, but following the law of the land. So I just want to encourage everyone in this city and in this community. We have a great opportunity here. And we're going to have some challenging time, but it's responsible for us to follow the law of the land and do what is right, wholesome, and decent with character, integrity, and credibility. And so, again, congratulations to everyone, to this council for this ability that has been put in place, and congratulations to all the newly elected school board. But we have to do the right things for the right reason for us to continue to be prosperous. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to our city manager to see if he has anything to say. Mr. Hunter?
Yeah, appreciate that, Mayor. I want to thank all you all for everything you all had to say. And I know we gonna be crushed for time in a little bit because we have a canvassing at 12 o'clock. Gotta get from down here up to the other building. But I do want to say this as a public safety director, you know, and I probably asked the chief of police and the chief of the fire department to say a couple words, because 19 years ago, I remember exactly where I was when 911 occurred. And when we talk about doing a job, as Mr. Bailey talked about, you know, trying to do a good job as a public safety official. And a lot of people may not realize how vital the building department is in dealing with these structures and dealing with the safety. It starts a lot with them too than the rest of the city as far as these buildings following code and making sure that they follow the things they're supposed to, as well as the fire department when you were dealing with codes. But looking back at a lot of different things and seeing what's on the forefront, public safety is on the forefront. Again, sometimes it's for good reasons, sometimes it's for bad, but this is the best time I've seen probably in my career for some major changes to come about throughout the country, you know, so it'll be in unison throughout, hopefully. And it's a lot of things we have to work on as far as from the public safety. The chief police is teaching some real good classes right now, because a lot of people don't look into the history and wonder where we have problems and why we have so many problems that's going on now. So they're doing a splendid job of doing that, just as well as, you know, I watched the city, and like I said on yesterday, I fell in love with Phenix City a long time ago, and stop inconsistency in the stopping and going of councils. It is a unique thing that a full body comes back into place, and it's a good thing. Continuity continues, and we're able to move forward and keep a lot of things going. You know, everybody is familiar with each other at this point in time, and it's been a real good thing for the city of Phenix City over some years, getting the department heads blended in and keeping that team going and them working and respecting one another, and it boils down to that. You know, we may not always agree on all the issues, but, you know, we try to keep that going, and we have to reassess ourselves. We have to critique the things real fast that occur so that we can take a look at them, whether it's something that's good or something that's bad. We have to address that, because the next event could occur in a matter of seconds. When those 300 plus firefighters went in that building and they was fighting that, some of them didn't expect for what was going to happen to them and change their families. The police officers, 70 plus, nearly 100, it affected a lot of people. It definitely affected me, and I look at a lot of things, you know, because as I've told you, Mayor, on several occasions, I've always known what I was going to do in life since I was a kid, you know, real kid. Even in the 60s, I knew one of the main things I was going to do. You know, I was taught by my father and uncles that was real close to me to be versatile. So I was trained and skilled in different other things to be able to make a living throughout if I fell on my face or fell down on the main thing I wanted to do in life. But I could say this, you know, Sunday is always a special day to us. And I was looking at something dealing with, you know, with myself now. Sunday is the 6th, you know, it's always been a special day. We're dealing with this month in September. On the 16th, I'll make 61 years old on that date. I knew I was going to be a firefighter since the age of 6. I'm dealing with, this is the 16th year that my father passed away. There's a lot of things dealing with the number 6, you know, and I take a look at things. I'm a number person and I always look at that, you know, and as looking at that roller coaster, it's a lot of good and there's a lot of hard times within that. But making it to another September, making it to another birthday, you know, looking at these numbers and thinking about all those families of those public safety people, I would, you know, I say I appreciate everything that you all have done as a council and what you continue to do in the understanding, because my job serves as a bridge in between the daily operations of work and dealing with the council and the policy and procedures that's there to set forward to move this city. I think we have done some tremendous things. There's a lot of things that I may not say that I see that I'm wishing and hoping that will come to fruition for our employees. I always try to talk and coach the new employees coming in to make them get an understanding of how valuable they are and how valuable this job is and their job is to the community. And I would like for the fire chief first and then the police chief to really just say a few words on at this point in time. Between the three of us, we have over 100 years of service with this city, just the three of us, you know, and you can look at the amount, looking at people, and I look on the screen and look at Todd and Gil and some of the people that, when you have a team of department heads and you look at them and you're trying to get them and their families to a certain point, you know, I have been able to survive being a city manager to this point and seeing all of them reach crucial and critical points in their careers. I don't, at this point in time, you know, even the ones that came lately that's coming in with Sean and Ms. Gilday, getting people, if not having goals for those people to see them reach a tenure and get vested. People reach retirement eligibility and still love their jobs like it was the first day that they came in. It takes a lot. And you've got, if you're not in love with this city, it's hard for you to do for this city what you need to be doing. And I think all of them have passed that test and accomplished that. You know, looking like I say, I look at my young team that came here as teenagers, and that's Mike and Stephanie. You know, I look at them and look at the amount of time and years that they have in. And it is real important to me that those people understand and that I work on myself to make sure I can treat them the best that we can with, you know, making sure that, you know, some people take a lot of things home. When you've had good days at work, you're able to go home happier. And that's what we need to work on a lot, you know, trying to make sure we leave this place happy, because if we walk into a place that we solve problems and deal with problems every day. So it's not like, you know, it's not, we run to things that other people run away from. That's the job, you know, we ask for them. We need to live up to it and do it. But at the same time, I want to make sure people know that I understand what you all go through, and I hope you understand what I go through. So Chief Kennedy, will you and Chief speak on, because y'all watched it for years.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor, Council, and the City Manager for that proclamation and recognition. In my opinion, there's no higher calling than to be a public servant in public safety, and that's true customer service. Thank you truly for the way you feel about the way we come to work and do our jobs. We are very fortunate in the city of Phenix City for none of our public safety employees to have the mindset of what you see on TV right now. Like you've all talked about yesterday and today, the situation that happened last week, that was a dire situation. Something bad could have happened to that gentleman, to the police officers, and to the people who are out there causing a disturbance for their First Amendment rights. It's really ridiculous that we have to deal with that, in addition to the dire situation that took place. The police officers handled that excellent. I was worried about my firefighters that were standing out there waiting to help the gentleman. But you know, again, there's no higher calling, in my opinion, than for those of us who've gotten into public safety. We truly are here to serve, and it's been a pleasure for all of us that come to work in the fire department. I can speak for us because I know how we feel to come to work and work for the citizens of Phenix City and for you council members and Chief Hunter every day. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris and Chief Hunter. Thanks for this opportunity. I do also appreciate the council's vision and recognizing Public Safety Week next week, and look forward to doing some activities to make that remembrance important, something we shouldn't remember. One of the things that Chief Hunter alluded to is that he's right, that we've been through a lot over the last years of our career. And one of the things I wanted to point out is that a police department, public safety, fire department, they're only as good as the support of the local community and the council. We've been very fortunate in Phenix City that the council has given us resources and given us equipment and given us the opportunity to train and make ourselves better. One of the things that I think law enforcement and public safety in general, sometimes people forget, is public safety is a local issue. It's a local controlled issue. So when you see some cities that are having issues, it's probably because poor policies and poor support from both the political side as well as the community side has that breakdown. We don't have that here, and we're very fortunate that we don't have that here. But I think moving forward, some of the reforms that you're seeing nationwide that are coming in is you're going to see a lot more federal involvement in both law enforcement and public safety in general to standardize some of the policies and the procedures that have been either overlooked or not enforced. We hold ourselves accountable. We know that other cities do hold their officers accountable, but we've seen where some cities don't hold their officers accountable, and that of course makes it bad for everybody. So we know that there's going to be some changes in criminal justice reform. We're ready for that. Not only are we ready for that, but I think we're willing to look for it because I think Phenix City has something to offer of being a pretty good example of how to do it right. And that is not just the police department doing it right, but also the cooperation with the politicians, with the city council, and the community. I mean, you just don't do that just by the agency or by itself, or you just, you can pass whatever policies you want as a council, but unless we're buying into that and making those policies, taking those policies out into the community, then there's not going to work. And as well as if the community is not accepting of those policies that are brought forward by the council, that won't work. So it's really it's a three-legged stool, and any one of those legs missing, it'll fall over. So we're grateful again for the support. We're grateful for what we have here locally. We look forward to sending our policies to other agencies and cooperating with other agencies, talking to legislators, not only at the local level, but at the state level and the federal level to move this criminal justice reform forward that I think will make a difference. I think we'll always be a decentralized community or nation because I think states' rights, local rights are important, but I also think that federal standards and national standards is also going to go a long way in making sure that we are all held accountable regardless of the location.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Again, to the department head and for everyone on this team, and we are a team. If one looks bad, we all look bad. If one looks good, we all look good. Thank you all so very much, and thanks to CTV Beam for bringing this to our citizen. And at this time, we do stand adjourned, and we will see each other at noon for the canvassing. Thank you all so much, and have a great day.